Okay, so this is our second part in periodic table. So if you have missed the first part, please go to the playlist and you'll get the first part of periodic table where the basics have been taught. Now here little more information about the periodic table. We go a little further in periodic table and we try to understand periodic table a little more. Please see the video till the end. Everything is important. Okay, so here the first thing is, when we have the periodic table like this, by now these are the periods and here are the groups. Okay, in the groups and in the periods, here we have the non-metals. Of course we have the inert gas after that, and here we have strong metals, strong non-metals. I am talking about only the non-metals and the metals. I am leaving out inert gases as of now. Okay, so the very first thing is, as you come towards the left of the periodic table, that is in a period towards the left, the elements are big reducing agents. Okay, so metals are strong reducing agents. Now this is one thing, because they will question you about many things in your exam. Reducing agents, that means what makes a thing reducing agent? Okay, reducing agent because something which is Na easily becomes Na plus, okay, or Mg becomes Mg2 plus. In that case what happens is, it is elements which are strongly giving electrons to somebody is reducing that particular element. So if Na is giving this electron to chlorine and chlorine on getting it is becoming Cl minus, then Na is the reducing agent, Cl is the one which is getting reduced. Okay, so Cl gets reduced. So when electrons are accepted, then they become reduced. So here on giving sodium, on giving electrons, they become very strong reducing agents. On the other hand, non-metals are strong oxidizing agents. Oxidizing agents. Okay, so if I talk about chlorine, which easily becomes Cl minus, that means if any atom is snatching away electrons from others, then it becomes a strong oxidizing agent. If it has snatched the electron from sodium, then sodium has got oxidized and chlorine got reduced. Chlorine is the oxidizing agent, sodium is the one which got oxidized. Okay, so back to it, non-metals are oxidizing agents and these are reducing agents. Metal are reducing agents. Okay, now coming to another topic here, when we have this periodic table, one side strong metals, one side non-metals. Okay, this side, one side is strong non-metals, here strong metals. Then what kind of bonding happens between these elements? That is also a very important thing to understand, keeping in mind your syllabus. Now here you should know that these metals, okay, these are, if I pick up one from here and it bonds with something from here, of course not inert gas, let me keep inert gas like this. Okay, so it is bonding from this end to this end, means very strong metals to very strong non-metals. Then the bond is electrovalent bond. Okay, because this one is ready to give and this one is ready to take. So the bond is electrovalent. This is donating, that is accepting. Okay, now my next video will be on bonding. So, and on the other hand, if there is some bonding happening in between, in the right side only, between the non-metals with carbon oxygen or with carbon or between some elements in this area, they are bonding in between, then it is covalent bonding. Now why is it covalent bonding? Because these elements are towards non-metals and non-metals don't want to give electrons easily. They don't want to give electrons easily. So both of them, they don't want to give. So both come to a mutual understanding of sharing, and that is a covalent bonding. Okay, now one thing I missed to tell in the last video is that in a group, as we go down in a group, the number of shells increases. Okay, number of shells, I forgot to write this, increases in a group. Okay, but the last element, in the last orbit the number of elements remains the same. So if it is group 1, last orbit will have 1 electron. Okay, here it can have 2 orbits but the last orbit will have 1. Okay, here it can have 3 orbits but the last orbit will have 1. Okay, so this is number of shells increases in a group as we go down in a group. Okay, now apart from that we have two series from atomic number 57, lanthanum. Okay, after that goes a series which is given at the bottom of the periodic table. You'll see two boxes are made like this and elements are given here. One is the lanthanide series. These are rare earth metals. You don't have to learn much from this. Earth metals questions don't come from this. Okay, and then actinide series which starts from after 89 atomic number it starts, and these are the radioactive elements. Okay, these are the radioactive elements. Now why this kind of a behavior, why they are outside the periodic table? Because many of them were discovered when the entire periodic table was made. So finally, they have put asterisks here and asterisks here, and then they have made two tables at the bottom because of late discovery. Okay, now coming to another concept that you all should know by now, and once the whole syllabus is over you'll know it even better. What are acidic oxides and what are basic oxides? I don't know why I keep telling this to my students, but they keep forgetting. Now acidic oxides are the ones like SO2, SO3, CO2, okay, not CO, okay, CO is neutral. Now these are acidic oxides, P2O5, okay. Now these are some of the oxides which are acidic. They are non-metallic oxides, non-metallic oxides. Now why am I talking about this? Okay, and what are basic oxides? Basic oxides can be Na2O, MgO, okay, then I can have CaO. So these are all basic oxides. Now why the name acidic? These, when they mix in water, they form acids. Actually, these are the gases which are there in the atmosphere and they form acid rains. These are the gases forming acid rains. These are the gases which form, these are the oxides which form bases, or you mix them with water, they'll form alkali. Okay, so these are the non-metallic oxides and they are called acidic oxides. These are called basic oxides. So basic oxides are metallic oxides, oxides of metals, and these are oxides of non-metals. Okay, so now why did I tell all that? How do oxides vary in a periodic table, in a period? Okay, in a period, oxides go first from strongly basic, because we have strong metals to the left, to strongly acidic, okay, to strongly acidic. The next one that we have is hydroxides. Hydroxides go from, so this is oxides, then I have hydroxides. Hydroxides go from strongly basic to amphoteric oxides. Okay, so then hydrides. What about hydrides? Hydrides go from strongly basic, so strongly basic to strongly acidic. Now all this for only a period. Let's go down a group. Now if you say in a group, okay, in a group what happens? Down a group, okay, in a group oxides go from strongly acidic, naturally you have the strongest nonmetal at the top of the periodic table, to strongly basic. Strongly acidic to basic. So you have to learn to connect with non-metals with acidic property. Less basic, okay, hydroxide are less basic to strongly basic. They have to be strongly basic this side. Strongly basic. Why are they strongly basic? Because they have the strongest nonmetal at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, and hydrides are less acidic to more acidic. Now, the reason behind this I can't explain in this chapter, I'll explain in acid bases. So, less acidic to more acidic for hydrides. Okay. Now, few factors we are going to do. We have few factors which we need to remember. Factors which affect IP and factors which affect electron affinity. Okay, what are the factors which affect IP? Factors affecting IP, ionization potential, and factors affecting electron affinity. What are the factors? Okay, so first it is atomic size increases. Atomic size increases. So, atomic size increases. If the atomic size increases, then if the atoms become bigger, the nuclear attraction on the outermost, if this is a small atom and this one is a big atom, okay, this is a big atom, then the electrons over here will be less attracted to this, so it is easy to take out one electron, so IP decreases. Okay, as atomic size increases, IP decreases. And what else does it depend on? IP depends on what else? Nuclear charge increases. Nuclear charge increases. So it depends on nuclear charge and atomic size. If nuclear charge increases, what happens to the IP? IP increases. Why? Because if this one has only, supposing there are 2 orbits and here there are 5 protons, okay, and here what? So if nuclear charge is increasing, the pull on the electrons over here is more. Okay, now if this is 10 protons here, naturally the pull on the electrons over here will be more. Okay, more than this. So the pull here is lesser than the pull. When the nuclear charge increases, the pull on the outermost electrons, increases. And so now what happens? If the pull on the outermost electron increases, IP increases, means the effort or the energy you require to pull out an electron from the outermost electron, if the nuclear charge has increased, is now becoming, if the nuclear charge has increased, becomes more. You have to pull it harder. It requires more energy. Factors affecting electron affinity. First is atomic size. If the atom is small, then the nucleus is close by. Okay, so it takes in electrons more readily. So atomic size increases, electron affinity decreases. Okay, because the pull on the outermost orbit becomes less. Now, if nuclear charge increases, that is the number of protons inside the nucleus has increased, then electron affinity also increases. That is, if you have lot of protons inside, then it will try and attract more electrons to its orbit. So this is how these are dependent. One is IP, electron affinity, and one is ionization potential and electron affinity. Both depend on atomic size and both depend on nuclear charge, and you can see how they depend. Okay. Okay, so another thing, that is starting from the third to the 12th, okay, third third to the 12th group, we have transition elements, transition elements, also called as heavy metals. Now, the transition elements, you can say that, slowly from metals, they are slowly moving on towards non-metals. Okay, they are slowly becoming non-metals. Okay, now thereafter that comes few of them which are weak metals, and in that like lead. Okay, and there are many more. Okay, so to the right of the 12th group, that is in the 13th group, okay, weak metals. So the 13th, 14th and 15th, not all, some of them are the weak metals. Lead or gallium, okay, these are, I'm just naming two, there are more. The next thing is metalloids. Okay, so after that we have few metalloids which are metalloids. Now these metalloids are germanium, boron or silicon. There are more. Okay, then comes the metalloids, and then finally comes the non-metals. After the non-metals comes the inert gases. Okay, so this is how it gradually goes from very strong metals, alkali metals, then alkaline earth metals, then transition, then weak metals, then metalloids, then comes non-metals, and then comes, after non-metals comes inert gases. Okay, so this is another thing to be remembered in this chapter. Okay. Now, what else? Generally, my videos cover everything that is required for you. But what else do you need to study? You need to you just need to know the modern periodic law. This is one thing. Please learn up periodic law. You will get it. Okay, and so the modern periodic law will tell you that arrangement depends on atomic number and it does not depend on atomic weight. Okay, so you will please learn up the modern periodic law, and who gave the modern periodic law? Moseley gave the modern periodic law. That also please learn up. Okay, so I think with that we have done everything that is required in this chapter completely. Now what is remaining is how to do the questions based on this chapter. So we are going to do that in another video. Okay, so please stay tuned, and if you have liked the video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. I always tell that, okay, because lots of more videos in chemistry, in physics and also in maths is going to come up. Right now lots of videos will come up in chemistry one after the other. So thanks all of you. Bye then.